Hey gamer friends, welcome to Kitty Crafted, where I play Minecraft and obsess over Ninjago, cats, and other fun things. Enjoy the video. In this video, the first official one in my Ninjago series, I will be nearly doubling my progress in Ninjago City. I will be planning, finishing old projects, and recreating famous builds from the show. I'm sorry if this video is slightly chaotic. I divided it into chapters for a bit more organization. Thank you so much for all of the support on my first video. It was so inspiring. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend watching it first, as it is the intro to this whole project. I will be grinding a lot from now on, so stay tuned for more. If you are not a Ninjago fan, I am so sorry, as you probably won't understand a lot of what I'm saying. You really should watch it though, it's amazing. Without further ado, let's head into the video. After 6 months, Ninjago City looks like a sparse ghost town with a few scattered buildings that are completely disconnected. My job for today is to hopefully give a better idea for the city's plan to make it feel a bit more cohesive and make sure things will actually link up in the way I want them to. Without further ado, here is the plan. So this is the key. Green wool here means parking lot, yellow dotted wool means that it is a road, purple line means that it'll be some sort of wall, and a red piece of wool means that it'll be a building. I've actually added 2 more blocks of colored wool since then, which are pink for a walkway and blue for a bridge. Heading into a time lapse, this is all of Ninjago City. I began my planning with the Ninjago City Aquarium. I then added the Museum of History, which the two actually have fairly similar layouts. Over here is the garbage depot, which the Resistance hides out in Hunted, and this will be the Mechanics Warehouse, which was briefly featured in Season 12. Next to it is the Postboy Shed, which is mostly from Season 11 and 15. This very tall building will contain the Hero Suite, which was from Season 2. Wasn't sure where to put it, but I decided on here as it reminds me of those really nice apartments facing Central Park in New York City. Over here is the police building, which I felt just made sense to be across from NGTV News Tower. Next to the museum will be Buddy's Pizza Shop and some random building you could see in a photo. I'm now marking where Route 23 will continue through. Here's the diagonal metro station, a random building across from it, as well as a wall bordering the highway. This trio of buildings are Doomsday Comics, as well as 2 beside it. I forgot to delete the Temple of Fortitude when I moved it earlier, so I'm doing it now. This road here leads to Laffy's Karaoke Club, and this is our first parking lot. I know, extremely exciting. I decided to spontaneously make this very long road back here, where I will build Chen's Noodle House. I will also be making so many other things, such as Vinny's apartment, Dareth's apartment, Dareth's Mojo Dojo, and a couple of canon arcades, just to name a few. Some places could literally be anywhere in the city, so it's actually best to plan it into an already partially established street, if that makes any sense. This is only the very general layout, and things may change, so if I put anything in the wrong place or you have any ideas for Ninjago City, please let me know. As I just started using chisel and bit, the titanium ninja statue I made before was barely adequate. I decided to put my limited skills to use and make this statue more accurate to the show. I made the ninja mask more subtle, the legs a bit bigger, which was quite the struggle as I still don't know how to place the larger bits accurately. And I made his hair slightly less mushroom-like. I of course added Zane's sword in the back and some lovely graffiti that almost resembles Ninjago. I then placed moss and a little plaque with a Z and an E, as I didn't have room for his full name. NGTV News Tower was my next half-done build I needed to finish. I discovered that I could use World Edit to copy and paste each floor to make it go way faster, automatically texture, and fill in all the glass for me. Seriously, World Edit is amazing. I wasn't sure if I could use the World Edit to copy and paste the logo for NGTV News, as I used chisel and bits to make it, but it actually worked. Finishing with the roof, I added some random utility things that I have no idea the name of, and a helicopter pad, of course. I probably won't be doing many interiors for a while, as I just want to work on doing the exteriors of most of my builds. As I roamed the streets of Ninjago, I realized that Route 23 was very different from this other road. It was completely flat. It was so boring and uninteresting, which is the opposite of what my city should be. I added these stairs all along the edges for more depth, as well as some gutters. Not sure if the bars make me more scared or less scared. I also learned a few World Edit commands during this process. After fixing up some things, I knew I wanted to build something new. With almost 30 canon builds on my list to choose from, I had to pick one. I've been watching a lot of seasons with the Museum of Natural History, so I decided to build that. When I built this a week or so ago, I was even more new at World Edit than I am now, as this build took me extra long trying to learn World Edit, which was very well worth it as I can build much faster now. After making a nice lawn, I made a staircase leading up to it. It was surprisingly hard to find the right texture for the museum, but I think mushroom blocks with sandstone accents was a good choice. I added these lion statues, which I could have used chisel and bits for, but I already know that will take me hours, so I may fix them another time. I absolutely adore this roof with sunlights and dark oak accents. I finally added this banner, which I believe says museum. I logged on my world to discover the horror that is this. I don't know what happened, but this chunk is just missing. I spent over an hour trying to figure out why this chunk won't load, and I'm still left with an empty chunk every time I log on. I even got rid of distant horizons. I've decided to put off till tomorrow what cannot be done today, and hopefully I'll find a solution sometime soon. On a more exciting note, we will now be building the Temple of Resurrection, aka the Royal Palace of Secrets. I planned where this build would go all the way back in World Painter, so I'm very excited for this one. And now we'll head into a time lapse. I absolutely love building traditional Japanese-inspired buildings. The first time I did it was in a survival world about 6 months ago, and I had so much fun building it as I did with this build. This entire time lapse is of a literal wall. It just shows how much detail these types of builds have. I will do the inside island with the actual temple soon. As you can probably tell, I often get distracted. Here is a reference of the temple, and then here is the build partially finished. I love the front gate's design so much, and you can see the roof here. And one of my favorite details is this stair shelf combo on this side. And the inside gate entrance is just the outside flipped. It's time that I address the elephant in the room, which is the canals. They've been annoying me ever since I started this world, and their weird shapes and unevenness have to go. I originally sculpted them with World Painter, as my general inspiration for the city is the Oni trilogy, so I had to include lots of canals. On to another time lapse. Here I am working on the canals. As you can see, I changed a lot of the ones in the middle of the city to be fairly large and straight, and the canals on the outskirts to be more curved and smaller, which I think probably makes sense. It was very long and tedious, but also kind of relaxing and nice. Taking a break from the canals, I realized that the river around the city just randomly stops. So I dug this whole river using a spear tool and then just punching a bunch of stone until it looked more natural. It honestly just looks like I TNT'd it all, which I will fix later. After a few days of punching stone, the canal's general shape are finally complete. I finally decided that it would be a great idea to do some real planning in Ninjago City, like every single street, building, and even sidewalk, finally putting our key to use. I think this is so important to make sure everything matches up and is in the perfect place, and that it will just look right, as planning will help visualize the city so much better. I unfortunately lost the time lapse of my actual planning, so I'll be giving a tour instead of what I've done so far. We will start our tour at the Temple of Resurrection, where there is this little area here, and then over here is this lovely street with all these traditional buildings that will go here. And then all around the museum there will be a few streets. Just ignore the chunk that didn't load. Back here are just some random buildings and a little cul-de-sac. Over here is some random general store that you can see in a photo. And then this is, of course, Mojo Dojo. I can actually probably make it slightly bigger. I was trying to figure out where Mojo Dojo and the Kiddie Arcade and the Museum of History were all in relation to each other, because I could see that the Kiddie Arcade was across from both the dojo and the museum. So that was interesting to figure out. Speaking of which, here is the Kiddie Arcade, and then here I explained this building that's a pretty prominent feature in the skyline, just so I can build that there. And then there will be this bridge here going over there. I planned this other block over here a lot actually. So starting, this is the hero suite that was here before. I added this road, and over here will be a very interesting build. It will be basically Dare's apartment, which will be above a parking lot. Like the whole block will be raised. You'll have to see when I build it. So yeah, after looking at the video properly, like I should have done originally, I realized this block is surrounded by canals and not elevated. I made this whole new plan, which as you can see resembles the reference a lot more, and I'll just put something else in the old spot. Now back to the video. There will be another apartment there, and here is this road. Route 23 will go in a bunch of different directions. I may raise a couple of these platforms back up again, we'll see. I just mark out a bunch of buildings, what they'll look like. This whole corner right here is pretty much just the one that you see in this scene here, and then this street is basically just the traditional looking sort of street with all the canals that run down it that Harumi and Lloyd walk on in season 8. I extended this road here and put some bridge points where there will be more bridges. Oh yes, and then back here, past this road that I already showed in my last video, there will be a sky bridge, which there will also be multiple, which will be much taller than this. And then over here, there will be some residential buildings. This road will be like a little archway under the building. And then there'll be more residential buildings back here. And then Route 23 will lead over here. And then all of these roads go around the mechanics warehouse. And yeah, that's pretty much all my planning. I appreciate you so much if you made it to the end of my video, which is my longest so far. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. We really made lots of progress, and I definitely got a much better idea for the city now. Sorry it took so long to get out. Who would have thought building for your videos would make it take twice as long? For a little sneak peek into my next video, I discovered a mod that allows you to make custom NPCs. I already made a Harumi, and next episode I'll be making a bunch of other characters. See you then, and have a lovely day.